Hello and welcome back to a new Unreal Engine 4U video. Here is Muhammad and today's tutorial about making data tables. Actually, in the past few years I've been involved with creating specific type of games, RPG, real-time strategy and card games. And what's in common between all those games that all of them are heavily depending on data. What type of data? For example, in real-time strategy games, there is units, there is enemies, there is blah 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 blah. And every single unit or every single entity in this world, it has its own like price, it has its own HP, it has its own power, damage, and so on and so forth. Or for example, in RPG game, there is abilities, there is items, there is loot, there is lots of things, and those things have names, they have price, they have lots of attributes. But anyways, those things used to be managed by game designers in a form of spreadsheets or Excel files or Google document spreadsheets, and then the designer sends this to programmers or whatever, and programmers make their tool or whatever to convert those files into text files or CSV files or even using it as Excel files. It depends on the engine itself. But here with Unreal Engine there is a specific way and a specific method to use this spreadsheets, which in Unreal Engine workflow it's called data tables. And if you came here, this is a project, it have nothing fancy, it's completely empty project, nothing fancy. But here, as you can see, in miscellaneous there is data asset, data table, and float curve. We'll speak on all of them in different videos, but what's so important right now is the data table. And you can create data table here actually, but as you can see, you have to choose one of the structures, and those structures are made by Unreal Engine, and it's not that important that those structure could fit you. So that's why you need to make your own structure. And this is where the problem came. People in forums and documentation, they keep speaking about the must of writing C++ data structure in order to have a working data table in a blueprint game. For example, I'm a programmer, I have no problem to write C++ structure, but my issue is whenever I start a C++ project with Unreal Engine, I have no problem, I keep working in C++. But if I made a blueprint project, I hate the idea of putting some C++ files inside a blueprint-based project. So for me, if I started a blueprint project, I want to end this project as a blueprint. If I started C++ project, there is no way it would be ended as C++ project. But anyways, there is other people, not just programmers, there's designers, artists, and other people who want to make games, and they don't know how to add those C++ files or add the C++ structures or even connect those things. But the good news is that it's not a must anymore, because there is a workflow, but it's a little tricky, but it works. So anyway, let's speak first about how to create the data table file or the Excel file, because basically when this is Excel, Microsoft Excel, because basically when we make an Excel file, we are not going to use this Excel file within Unreal Engine because the engine cannot use Excel files. Okay, let's create something here. What the most important part about making a spreadsheet or data table here in Excel, that you leave the first cell empty, or you just give it the word name. So I'll make, let's say, a spreadsheet about characters or something. Let's call this Justin. Let's call this Anna. Let's call this Jeff and someone else. I don't know who, but someone else. Adam, for example. And let's say here the attribute, the first column would be for age, for example. Let's put some random numbers, it's not so important to have specific numbers. And then let's say gender, and gender should be okay, male, female, male, and male. And let's say job, and Justin is a teacher, doctor, carpenter, and say jobless. I hope it have a meaning. So this is my data table. I want to import this in game. So let's say my game is RPG game, and I want to give each character its own attributes in game. So rather than keep writing those attributes in the gameplay logic, it's better to have those in a spreadsheet and being loaded from a spreadsheet at runtime. So how to import this inside Unreal? Actually, Unreal accepts that as CSV files, which is comma separated values file. So I select everything, all the cells I need to export, and then I save as here, and let's save it here in desktop. Let's call it gameplay data, or let's call it RBG gameplay data. And let's keep it on desktop, but here I have to select CSV, comma separated values, and save. And actually this message says that it's been comma separated values, you cannot restore and as a spreadsheet again, and say okay, continue, whatever. So I don't need this anymore, it's useless anymore. So if you want to see this comma separated values file, it actually looks like this. So as you can see, name, and you can imagine it's like columns, but everything separated with commas. So I come here to Unreal Engine, and then I say import, and let's import my humble file here. It's comma separated value. As you can see, it says this is a data table, or be imported as a data table, but choose data table row type. And then I have those structures, which is provided by Unreal. And actually, if I selected any of those structures, it will be useless and nothing going to work. As you can see, it's probably going to give errors because age and gender and job, it's not defined on the data structure made by Epic. So I need to create my own data structure. Let's delete this because it's useless now, and let's create my own data structure. So in Blueprint, it's called structure, and let's call it RBG data. For example, open this data structure. What is data structure here? Or in general, data structure is just a bunch of variables. So here I need to set some variables. So what is these variables actually? Those variables is the names of columns and what actually is the type of this column. So if you could remember, the first one was name. So I don't have to put anything for the first column because this first column is almost loaded by default. Let's say the second column was age, and age should be loaded as integer value. And then let's say I have the next column was gender. I just want to check one more thing, that my files, my names here, it is uppercase or lowercase. Yeah, it's age and gender and job, all uppercase. Okay. Gender should be loaded in game as a string because it's just a bunch of text. And then job, which is loaded as a string as well. Now I have a data structure. If I tried now to import again this CSV file, I'd say data table, and then I can see my RBG data structure here. So I said, okay, my RBG data is a structure. File is imported now. There is no errors, there is no messages. If I double click the file here, I can see exactly what was in my Excel file. As you can see here, this is Justin, 45 and male, he's teacher. This is Anna, Jeff, and Adam. Everything is loaded here. So how to use this in-game? Well, a good question. So let's create a blueprint, any type of blueprint, just for test, and let's call it gameplay element. Let's put it here, put an instance in game. Let's double click and open this. Let's say when the game starts, I want to load all the settings related to Justin or related to Jeff. So I come here to the event graph. Let's say an event begin play. I say data table and get data table row here, And then I select the data table, which is workbook 1 here. It's my file which has imported, the CSV file imported. And then it got my rows here actually. So first row was Justin, Anna, Jeff, and Adam. So let's say I want to get the attributes for Anna. She's the only female here, so Anna. And then outro. Now I can break this and get all her attributes: age, gender, job. Let's say we have added 100 column, we will see 100 value to be broken from here, from this node. So let's do any easy or any easy. Let's do some print. So row found, because basically Anna is here and we will find Anna definitely. So let's print some values here. So let's print for example, Anna, and or not like this. Let's print. So let's just print Anna here, and let's create here a variable, and let's set it to string, and let's call it Anna, for example. So I get this here, get Anna, and let's append, and let's say is, and let's female, and let's say, and she is age, and let's say whatever number years old. She works as, let's add a pin, let's put the job, and finally let's print this. So let's save and compile and make sure it's on event gameplay, and we have instance here. So once I hit play, we see that is female and okay, sorry. So when again, Anna should have by default Anna. And space is female, and here is, and actually space before the Y, so we'd have, and let's keep this for 5 seconds, give it a very clear color. So compile and hit play. Anna is female and she is 65 years old. She works as a doctor. And even if we try to change this, for example, here, you can change whatever thing. We can choose Justin, and let's rename the variable here, Justin. And of course, we need to change she to he or whatever, or even those words could be came from another spreadsheet. So Justin is male and he's 45 years old. She works as a teacher, but should he works as a teacher. But anyway, also if you try to change something, because those games designers keep trying and keep changing values based on what they see feedback from the players or what they see feedback from the testers. So if you try to change something here, it's not important to try to change things here, because it's useless if you change here, because this file at the end of the day, it could be referenced from the main CSV file we have here. So let's say, let's open here the file, and let's say this guy is not anymore 95 years. He got older. He's 102 years actually. And we save the file. And we can do this at the spreadsheet, which is Excel file. But the meaning is we don't changes outside Unreal. We just come here and re-import. And once you open again, you find this guy became 102 years old. So it's very easy to handle changes this way. So if you have to change things, never change here. You can, but don't. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. Don't forget to subscribe, follow on Twitter and Facebook, and looking forward to see you in next video. See you. Bye.